are crowned champions of the Dr. Njogu football tournament, plus a look at some past and present United States footballers in the English Premier and highlights of the world's best footballer. Welcome to Sports Night, and I am Fatu Jassi. The movers and shakers of the country's football will once again converge on the Friendship Hostels Conference Hall for the second adaptive congress of the new GFA draft constitution. Saturday's adaptive congress comes after the world's football governing body, FIFA, rejects the outcome of the first similar congress held on 8 December 2012 when stakeholders adopted the draft constitution, but only after a wholesale amendment. Well, this weekend's Congress is very crucial in shaping the future of the country's football, with many pundits describing it as a make or break for the country's leading sport. The producer of Sports Night is one person who is closely monitoring developments, and in this report, he reflects on how the seemingly unending wrangling in Gambian football is doing absolutely no good to our football, much to the frustrations of the fans.
Pressure is mounting on Luciano Mancini days after the Scorpions were beaten 3-0 by the Elephants of Ivory Coast in match day 3 of the qualifiers for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. The Italian tactician watched from the sidelines as his Scorpion side was trampled on by the rampant Elephant of Ivory Coast, who produced a stunning second-half display to win by 3-0. Mancini came into Saturday's game looking for his first win in the group and keeping alive the country's slim hopes of a World Cup debut. But facing the best-ranked team on the continent, that mission seems impossible for the Italian in what was arguably his biggest managerial test. The Scorpion did very well to control the Ivorians in the first half, giving fans some little hope of at least returning home with a respectable performance. But those hopes were quickly dashed away when the Gambian players looked a shadow of themselves in the second half, as they were tormented and tantalized by an Ivorian side with pure class and quality. Top goal scorer in the Dutch Eredivisie, Wilfred Bonnet, fired the Elephants into the lead from the penalty spot after Yankuba Malsise gave away a needless penalty. This was the turning point, and absolutely no need for such a clumsy foul in the box. The referee got it right, and Wilfred Bonnet, who is topping the scoring chart in the Dutch First Division for Vitesse Arnhem, with 26 league goals and drafted into the Elephant side to replace the legendary Didier Drogba, could not miss from 12 yards. Yaya Toure doubled the Ivorians' lead moments later with a near header. The Manchester City towering midfielder and reigning African Footballer of the Year rose in between Abdou Jame and Mamadou Fouti Danso to note in a powerful header past Christopher. Then Javinho made a marauding run right through the middle, easily skipping past several Gambian players before setting up Solomon Kalou, who placed the ball into the back of the net. 3-0 the final score, another disappointing defeat for the Gambia. The result left the Gambia rock bottom in Group B with just a single point from 3 games. Ivory Coast maintained top spot with 7 points. Tanzania, who were considered the whipping boys of the group, proved critics wrong by occupying second position in the group with 6 points after beating Morocco 3-1. The Moroccans have just 2 points in third position. The latest defeat means the Scorpions' boss is yet to register a win in a competitive match, and with no signs of any meaningful improvement in the performance of the national team, questions are being raised as to whether the 56-year-old gaffer is the one to bring the results. Mancini and his players might be on the spotlight for not getting the desired results on the pitch. No one needs reminding of the reality check Gambian football is facing, which is the root cause of the poor results on the pitch, and in this case, the uncertainty hanging over the administration of the country's football. Unless the wrangling and hustling over who should control the day-to-day running of our football is resolved, results would be hard to come by. It is time stakeholders put aside personal differences and strike a common ground for the interests of moving football, and not only football, but other sports as well. Unless the seemingly unending power struggle in Gambian sports ends, meaningful advancement in sports will be difficult to achieve. Yes, Mancini might not be delivering the results, but with the current uncertainty clouding over our football, even if we were to hire the services of Pep Guardiola, combined with the experience of Sir Alex Ferguson and the charismatic Jose Mourinho, results will still be hard to come by. The longer the bickering in Gambian sports drags on, the poorer the results.
Failure to reach an agreement on Saturday will further plunge the country's football into more uncertainty. Well, MS Jallo spoke to Babukar Kamra, sports editor of the Daily Observer, on the significance of this weekend's adoptive congress and why stakeholders must end their differences and move football forward.
Well, it's all set for the Saturday's GFA second adoptive congress that all football fans are talking about. Babukar, Saturday is D-Day. Stakeholders in Gambian football gets back to the Friendship Hostel Hall to chart the way forward in Gambian football. And when we say chart the way forward, try to adopt the draft constitution for the second time. What are we expecting?
Well, I think the idea of the adoptive congress for the second time is for the delegates to accept this draft document in front of us here. That is from the change of name from Gambia Football Association to Gambia Football Federation. And going for a federation would mean you have all the other regions now will have their football associations. So I think that is what is expected for the delegates to adopt a constitution that is definitely the way forward for Gambian football.
How significant is Saturday's adoptive congress? This is the second time. The first one was done in 8th December 2012, which the outcome of which wasn't satisfactory to FIFA, warranting for this second one. How significant is the second adoptive congress on Saturday?
Very significant in the sense that it will go a long way in deciding the fate of the administration of Gambian football, because we've said it before in our sister program on that is multi-sports, that it is high time that the normalization process has to come to an end. And already the aspiring candidates of the GFA election are calling for the normalization committee to go. So I think that this is one of the main reason why the normalization committee is still in place. They want to make sure that this document is being adopted without the amendments that were done the other time. And also to come up with a voter list that will be far, far shorter than what is currently happening.
It was adopted the other time. That was on December 8th, you remember?
Yeah.
But only after a wholesale changes was made to the document, which did not go down well with the World Football Governing Body, FIFA. Do we see a repeat of the last adoptive congress come Saturday?
I would think that don't be surprised if we are in for another big disappointment. Big disappointment in the sense that you see the stakeholders, the club owners, they have the voice. But also this time also, FIFA has empowered the normalization committee, because according to what the spokesperson of the normalization committee said was that in fact that was contained in a FIFA letter sent to the GFA, that only clubs that are competing regularly in GFA recognized competitions are allowed to vote this time. So possibly I think the chances of the government-backed constitution being adopted without major amendments, I think the chances are higher this time than the previous Congress on the 8th of December.
What do you think so? Why do you think so?
Well, because it's like the normalization committee now have at their sole discretion to decide who gets into that hall and vote. So, that could go a long way in determining the fate of this document.
This is the document that we are talking about. I believe you have gone through it.
Yeah.
And it is the main problem that keeps the wrangling, the hustling, the bickering in our sports. You understand? Even it is this document why still the mandate of the normalization committee continues to be extended by FIFA. Having gone through this document, what do you make of it?
Well, I've said it before, and I will repeat it again. Having gone through this document, I think it is the way forward for Gambian football, because time has come for us not to participate just for the sake of participating. We have to participate in football at the highest level, countrywide. You know, we want to see teams coming from